Welcome back. We're at the Precious Metals Summit at Beaver Creek, and I'm with Glenn Jessam again. Glenn, haven't seen you in a while. We last got up in March.
Time flies, Peter. Time flies.
Obviously, big day today. You've just released your MRE.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Before we go into the details, just remind us of who you are and how you've got to where you are now.
Look, we've been in Mexico for almost 30 years. Our group out of Halifax, Nova Scotia, we built a lot of big mines there. Our mantra always is that you drill that first hole and you develop a resource, you move to PEA, then feasibility, and you build a mine. We've done it serially. So we always said that's what we do at Tigre, and this is the next big step in that process.
I guess this is a huge milestone, isn't it? Because it's a precursor to something bigger, which is obviously the PEA. But remind us of what's going on at the moment.
Well, just to give a little picture of where we are as a company, 17, we acquired this beautiful asset in Sonora. We paid $11 million for it, Canadian. And we got to work and we started drilling. Raised in last 2.5, 3 years, since 2020, about $75 million, all bought deals. Got about 25 million of that left. And we've moved it considerably down the field since then. The big right now, 100,000 meters we've drilled in this thing already. You're seeing the results of that today in the MRE. And today we put out the MRE, which is, here's what we have today. There'll be more, we'll keep drilling, but here's what we have today. And really, on the heels of this, very important for your viewers, is we're very close with our PEA. We expect to have, and say expect, there's always bumps, but to have that ready to deliver to the market before the end of this month. So a lot of things happening at the same time.
Okay, talk me through the MRE. What are you most happy with?
Very, very excited about the MRA, and the things people have to realize is really how this project has evolved. When we see projects in Mexico, we basically always see high-grade silver veins. But usually, in our experience in the mines we've built, you always have that open pit component first. We called it flowering epithermal system, pitted surface veins. We knew we had that, and we went after that, and we nailed it. The surprise, as we talked about in the last show, was as we kept exploring around this wonderful, wonderful asset, we found that shale zone, wide zones of high-grade mineralization, and then, of course, in the last year, out of nowhere, the sulfide zone. And we've got a little bit of that in the MRE. There'll be more, but you're starting to get a picture of what this all looks like when you get drills through it and you file a report in contemplation of the economics coming to show what it really is in that first look in the PEA.
Yeah, because obviously the geology is quite unique, and obviously I'll put a link to our old video or our last video where we went through that in quite a lot of detail for those who are looking for that. But tell me about the figures and the numbers in this MRE.
So we're looking at combined figures, because you've got to remember that Tigre is all of those different types of components. So we're not only going to be a narrow vein underground mining, we're going to have some bulk mining when we get to the shale zone, when we get to the sulfide zone especially. And of course, the open pit potential here is incredible. And as you see more about that pit, we'll talk about it, it's a gem. So as we evolve into the PEA, you'll see that. But let's just use rough numbers. People can go and look on the website. They can look at the press release. They can look at the MRE resource table. But on the indicated side, let's just compare apples to apples. About 86 million silver equivalent ounces delivered today.
Nice.
In pit, out of pit. On the indicated side, 90 million more. On the inferred side, apologize. On the inferred side, 90 million more silver equivalent ounces. And we'll continue to work to move that to indicated as time goes by. Some people go, what does that all mean? Really what it means, and we've got some rough numbers here. If you looked at it indicated, that's about 37 million silver ounces and about 575,000 gold ounces. That's in the indicated. In the inferred, call that 52 million silver ounces and probably about 375,000 gold ounces. So people can see how that comes when we put the equivalency. Like, people like to see it broken out too. So that's what today delivered.
Okay. How are you now looking at this project compared to where you were looking at it in terms of advancing it and getting it into production compared to how you was?
I gotta be real careful what I say.
Okay.
And people won't have to wait very long. But as we have looked at the in-pit and out-of-pit resource, the size of it, and now I know the economics. I mean, I'm literally on the edge of putting out a PEA. we're going to wait for that because it's weeks out. We'll get back on here and I'll explain what that's going to be. But we're very excited about the size, girth, and the economic test that's been applied to this, and people are just going to have to wait to see that.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Talk me through what the next steps are. The next say year, next 2 years. What are you going to be most focused on this?
We're going to have to be careful what I say. Of course, the PEA will come out. We will then have that filed, and you'll see the first economic test on all of this resource we've put out. The next step will be then to immediately move to pre-feas. So the work that is required to come out with a feasibility study on this, that's being done now. So that requires metallurgical drilling and geotechnical. All that work is being conducted now. So it's just a continuum. Okay. First hole, a lot of holes, resource estimate, PEA, feasibility. You kind of just roll right through them all, and you actually are doing some of the work on one that's ahead of you while you're getting ready to put the previous one out. So that's the path. Look, the path here has always been very simple. We said it from the first day. We see a mine that we can build at El Tigre that will be very profitable. So far, so good.
Good. I just want to touch on as well, obviously over this next couple of years, that there's a fair bit in inferred, obviously a lot in indicated already. Mm-hmm. You've done 100,000 metres of drilling, as you mentioned. I guess how much in your mind, how much more meters of drilling do we need to do to?
There'll be the next 100 and the next 100, but my technical team tell me, because this is a district, we've just started. We're right in the very guts of it, 1.5 kilometers or 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers of 30. Yeah. My technical team tell me, and that's what these districts are like. And I took this as an affront at the first, that Mr. Jessam, you'll be dead and we'll still be drilling ounces at Tigre. And we believe that. Yeah. And so you can't answer that question. Yeah. We'll just get ready for the next 100,000.
Glenn Jessam, thank you for the update.
Peter, it's always a pleasure to come on, and a couple more weeks I'll be back, I hope, if you invite me.
No, looking forward to it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.